ENLIL came in with his trans-testicle half species crossbreeding kids through dimensions, mirror-verse babies with a reverse genetics, and his rogue wife that walk around with a phallus big as his, and he think that that's normal. That's not normal on Earth. It's normal where they from. It ain't normal here. Right. So that's those are titles, and those titles became synonymous with names by being lost in history.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Rod. Let's do one more question, then I'm gonna have to get out of here, family. Let's do one more question. There's a lot of good questions. We might have to do a part 2 or something. Somebody, yeah, the telepathy train is gonna be on Patreon, and I'll that's gonna be next Tuesday, and I'll keep you updated on that. But that will be on Patreon. Let me see. Give me serious, go over there. Go over there. This last question from Super Chat. If Adam and Eve represent the creation of white people, are the people outside of the garden in Nod the earlier creations, like Dr. Moreau had a lab, but the first creations was on the island outside the lab who made Nods?
The land of Nod was a civilization that existed in the southern part of what's today called the Middle East, around the Iran area, not Iraq. And it was a city of ENKI. ENKI is in what's this guy name? ENKI is classified as a hedonist, a pleasure seeker, right? And he liked to laugh loud, talk, and shuck and jive with the crowd, talk stuff to the people. He liked to mingle. Tahuti liked to be reclusive. ENLIL also likes the spotlight. And if somebody like his brother is getting more, what he feel like is getting more spotlight in him, he's prone to go into jealous rages. Right? The story creation of Adam and Eve was not a skin-based production of people. It was creating in Sumerian tablets, they called him Lulu Aminu. They didn't call him Adam, and they didn't call him Eve. Adam is Adama in Hebrew, which means clay, ruddy red dirt. Eve is Hawa in Hebrew, which means the tribal leader. Right? So they telling us the story different in English than they get in Hebrew. This is why they use that to confuse us. Because now we don't know Abraham, right, means the heart of the black god. And who was the black god? The Lord of the perfect black, Osiris. He had the heart of the great father, which makes him be the father of many nations. Which takes us back to ENKI and all of his children, right? And he wanted to be, or he was scheduled to be replaced by ENLIL, his brother, who decides to pull rank, right? And Tahuti just want his people left alone. And they weren't never supposed to come to the Americas, because if they come to the Americas, now that gives me an excuse to get involved. All I needed was an excuse. And they came over here and they gave me the excuse. Now I got to get involved. I got to tell all of the people this stuff don't work on me. This is why it don't work, because I know exactly what they're doing. Right? So all of us over here was never supposed to be involved in the Anunnaki wars. But all of ENKI children lost to ENLIL's children in Africa, in India. That's where, if you go back to Alexander, when they say he conquered the world because he took the scroll of destiny from India. He didn't go into Ethiopia and face the Candace Queens. He didn't want no parts of that smoke. Men under the matriarchy is not these pussy blandamists, watered down, soft shoe, butter butt, brown nose people that we see today that's masquerading as men. That's under the matriarchy. The man is masculine, hardcore, and will bust your face with his fist about these women and these babies. But these new men will overlook the children being hurt and the women being abused. Like, ain't got nothing to do with me. You couldn't whoop a woman in the streets. If you had a wife and you wanted to whoop her, you better wait till you get home. Because if you get caught whooping her in the streets, a pack of young boys gonna come whoop you like a pack of ravenous hyenas. And they don't do that no more because they feminizing the males to win the war. They not gonna win the war because all of us ain't finna bitch up. Some of us gonna speak up. I want to tear something up, but they keep telling me we brain banging, we ain't gang banging, and I don't like it. I want to go out and hit the streets of LA, Chicago, and New York and talk to these brothers in the hood and say, this is what they did to us. This is what we gonna do about it. But now they want me to sit here on social media, explain it, tell the story, and break down the history and be the great tutor that I'm supposed to be. Because all of the information is we already been given by our elders. We just didn't know how to put the puzzle together.
Right.
So I'm putting it together.
Right. Last question for you tonight. What an amazing show. How many incarnations have you had in this realm, Rod? Since you're able to tap into all this stuff. How many times you been in this realm, Rod?
Well, I used to come back on a regular basis, like leave this life, come back as a baby next week or next year or something like that. But they put a conjure spell on me. This is the story of Sun Wukong being sealed in the mountain for 500 years. But it wasn't 500, it was 5,000 years. So I couldn't, until they came over here, that's how they got me from unsealed from their conjure. And they use all of the Anunnaki, ENKI, ENLIL, Inanna, Anu, all of them had to do it together because they wanted me to stay out of the business, out of the smoke. They didn't want me because I would blow, they know I'll blow it up. I'll push the button, give me the football. Kill them all and let God sort them out. Send them to source and the righteous ones can come back and the wicked ones can stay. But they don't want me to do it that way. They wanted me to show that our brain power, our spiritual self has the capacity to overcome the obstacle without the shedding of blood. I want to shed blood, but they don't want me to shed blood. I want to shed some blood though. I want some heads to roll. I'm not non-violent. I'm very violent, but I'm not supposed to do violent stuff to teach the people how to see out of the maze they put us in. Because all it is a mental maze. They trapped us in our own minds with that Amen spell. That's the worst spell out of all of them. Because it's self-inflicted. It's a self-inflicted conjure. That's the hardest one to get a person to break. The one the sorcery you do to yourself is going to be way harder than breaking the sorcery that somebody else done to you. So they tricked us by saying amen after we so-called pray. That turned us into prey. We don't want that fire to rise up and in and rebel and kick back at the stuff that's oppressing us. They don't want that. I want all of that. But it's not necessary. We won. I just got to get everybody to realize we won. The Earthborn won Earth. When we freed Earth, we freed everything ENLIL had in his restricted will universes. He don't believe in free will universes. That's why the Earthborn was resistant to him the whole time. ENKI don't care. All he want to do is laugh hearty, sing and drink and dance. He don't want all that other stuff. He don't want to control nobody. He don't want, and he did things that the Anunnaki looked at as an abomination when he gave us the ability to think for self. Matter of fact, I just put that reel up from a movie, an Anunnaki movie. I don't know. I had to find that movie because it's literally telling, it's a conversation taking place between ENKI and ENLIL. So if you go to my Rod Hayes Facebook or the SikApe on Instagram and you look at my story, it'll pop up. And you hear ENLIL chastising ENKI about giving us the ability to be self-sufficient, think for ourselves, be our own individual selves, right? They call that purifying the ego. We were never supposed to learn how to purify the ego. The purification of the ego is how you activate your God form in the 3D realm. And all of the purification of the ego, we know it today, we call it the shadow work. And nobody didn't want us to know these things. These was all what you call temple secrets that the rank and file of humanity is not supposed to have access to. And everything that they did to subjugate the matriarchy, they know I'm going to tell these women how powerful they is. I'm going to tell them you ain't got to fight them. And I'm going to tell them where all the secrets is, where the rituals at, where they hid it in plain sight. I'm going to point it out. The Sufis and the dervish got all of the rituals that the Atlantean women used to use to raise the vibrational frequency so that the lower vibrating archons can't even exist on the planet.
Damn.
They had to keep the practice of the earthright rituals so that when the close of the age come, if we can figure it out, if we don't surrender and or abandon what's rightfully ours. It's the only two ways you could lose it at the close of the age, right? Because everything is reset back to the beginning. So the only way you can lose it, you got to either surrender it or forfeit. Well, Tahuti's philosophy is no retreat, no surrender, full speed ahead, balls to the wall, give him hell or give him death.
Damn, my brother. Wow. What a show, family. Y'all see the on the screen, my brother Rod Hayes Cash App. Make sure you have 2 hours. 2 hours of straight fight. This 2 nights in a row, I did 2 hours, y'all. First, did you see Keys yesterday, Rod Hayes? Keys was on yesterday.
I didn't even know you was on yesterday. I ain't been on. I haven't really been on here. Oh, yesterday I was over there. No, yesterday I was waiting to do a podcast, but the girl never sent me the link. And then Friday I was on with Dr. Kia Pruitt.
Excellent, excellent, my brother. Well, yeah, man. 2 nights. I mean, powerful shows back to back, y'all. Make sure y'all support my brother Rod. We will see y'all Tuesday on Patreon. I'll post up. A lot of y'all know how to get to there. Black Magic 363. But if y'all don't, I'm gonna post a link up in the on a YouTube. But we will see y'all Tuesday. Telepathy training. It's time now more than ever to tap into these spiritual abilities. It's 2024. Y'all see the shit show happening. We got to know what's going on, y'all, in the spirit realm and in the inner knowing realm. So I will see y'all on Tuesday on the Patreon. With that being said, any info you want to give them before we get out of here, Rod?
No, just keep watching this show. Pop your popcorn, get your soda, sit back. When the martial law come, that ain't got nothing to do with us. They coming to get the baby eaters. Right? That's what they coming for. They coming to get the baby eaters. They coming to get the serial rapist organizations. They coming to get all of the people we want gone. That's who they coming to get. So you sit back, toke on your blunt like I'm going to do. Get your popcorn and your soda and watch this show because Trump just gave them the green light to go. I don't know what it means.
Damn.
But he just told them, go, go, go. Whatever that means, they finna go. I'm finna watch.
Wow.
Earlier in the week, he put up on his Truth Social, he told Biden, you got a week. It was a skit. That's how he played it. The skit had George Clooney firing Joe Biden, telling him he had 1 week left on the job.
Wow.
So I'm watching. This getting juicy. Then the same day, all this is posted on my page on my Instagram and Facebook. If you go back and look, but they said that they was talking. Senators in DC was talking about using the 25th Amendment to remove Joe Biden and put Kamala Harris in office because they saying he's showing signs of dementia. I got the article on my Facebook that go all the way back to 2020 when his son was complaining about them making fun of his father's Alzheimer and dementia, and he was never supposed to be put back in if he could pass the cognitive test. That mean the whole time he ain't been running nothing. Guess who been running the show? On the stage show side of things. It's Kamala, but the real stuff is being handled by 45. This is some juicy stuff, man. I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, man, this is more juicy than ghetto gossip on the street corner in the barber shop.
Damn. Man, oh,
I'm
man.
just watching it. It's funny to me now. It was miserable at first. Now it got so funny that I can't even be miserable looking at it. I used to just hate that people can't see the stage show playing out, and I'm looking at the director and the actors and the. And they also posted where Trump was talking about central casting. People keep forgetting he kept saying central casting, central cast. Who is central casting? All of those people that don't have Oval Office is actors.
Mm.
And that's why they couldn't release the Supreme Court ruling about the oath of office, because it'll bring the whole facade down.
Yeah.
That's how, so once they put Kamala in, that means matriarchy restored. And then after that, they put 45 back in order to make all of the announcements and bring in the tribunal TV and show them who was doing what. And then his job to tell y'all, all these chiefs that's sitting around watching this stuff on the Titantron in Raven Rock, Colorado, gonna come out, and then they got to give a report to the people, because they don't have to answer to me or you, Rich. They got to answer to the collective, and the collective is waiting with they doing like your auntie do when she waiting on you to tell that story again. Okay, now how you say that went, baby? Now let me see what you say. Now tell me again. The people waiting like that, because they know that the chief's responsibility is to report the distress that's been going on the land and the final overcoming of the obstacles. That's not the responsibility of the corporation that's defunct now. They got to try to keep their charade up as long as possible until enough of us wake up and start laughing at the comedy show that they putting on. Now they're making the parody so obvious that if you can't see that it's a stage show and that they playing David Copperfield illusions in front of you, then you probably an NPC.
Appreciate you once again, my brother. With that being said,
I
family,
heard Blast, Rich. Appreciate it, brother.
we having a good time, man. I'm gonna see you on Tuesday, Rod. Who knows what might happen? I don't know what might go down between now and Tuesday, but we'll see what happens. It's a hell of a show. I will see you all of y'all Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Getting out of here. Have a good night, family. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace, Rod.
All right, peace, Rich. So, like when we see Fibonacci sequence in nature, and we see the signs of pi in nature, and we see platonic solids manifest in nature. This is all physics that nature is using to give us the reality that we call three-dimensional reality.
Yeah. This is that's all we see in the 3D. Totally understand. So where'd you see us, like us coming from the beginning? Do you see us like, well, we came from another realm and we went in this physical, we was in more in the higher dimensional place? Or do you see it as like how some of the scientists kind of teach it, Western science, where, you know, we start off with something in the water, later on with evolving, evolution. So you more, where would you say where your focus more is?
My view would place me on the fringes of modern science.
Okay.
Because if let's take the evolutionary Darwinian philosophy of the microorganisms that came from the sea that moved on to the land, that became reptiles, mammals, and other species of animals, right?
Yeah.
Who put the first active cell into play?
Okay.
You see, so even if you're using the Darwinian evolutionary paradigm where you evolving from smaller creative expressions, microorganisms, then you have your two-cell organisms, and then as you move up, you end up with multi-billion cell organisms like us and elephants.
Okay.
Right? As in the creative paradigm, source would be the cause of all existence. Source is bigger than three-dimensional because three-dimensional fits within the paradigm and framework of source energy. We are trying to understand in the 3D world what fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth dimensions look like, feel like, taste like, smell like. Well, we leave three dimensions, none of these things matter because everything, you are a body of knowledge when you in your light body. You become a body of ignorance when you take on a human body. So your light body has to be so powerful that it keeps your heart pure while you learn how to navigate the obstacles of life on Earth in the 3D. So you go from supreme knowledge of the God form of the inanimate self to becoming an ignorant child that can't take care of itself